What's up, guys? I'm Mike, he's Ryan, and this is Eggs.
This is Eggs. This is Eggs.
What's Eggs?
Eggs is a podcast about all things creative, regardless of what that means to you. From the creativity involved in launching a business, building a brand, crafting an entertainment career, or whatever, we'll talk about the process of growing your eggs from start to finish.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's, man, we're starting to rack up some numbers here. We're actually doing pretty darn good with this show.
We're at 14.
Yeah, number 14. Who knew we'd make it?
Yeah, I know.
So,
speaking of that, Joe Rogan just hit 1,000.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
He's working too hard.
It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Yeah, I know. Great show, though. Did you listen to it?
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it kills me. He has a guy on the show today, or on the 1,000th episode, this dude, Joey Diaz. He's maybe my favorite human being.
I'm growing to like him a lot after that episode. That was hilarious.
Yeah, he's the best. You got to watch out. There's a triple threat on Joe Rogan. I mean, Joe's great, but of guests, Bert Kreischer, Joey Diaz, and Ari Shaffir. If you listen to any Joe Rogan show in your life, listen to the ones with any of those guys on it, and you're
good
going
to
to lose
go.
your shit.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's just comic gold because they just go off on tangents that are out of the left field, and you're like, really?
Yeah, no, I mean, Joey, if he didn't tell different stories every time, I'd think he was making them up. But I mean, the man is like a treasure trove of the craziest stuff I've ever heard in my life.
If you grew up in the Bronx or in Jersey, right? Somewhere over there.
New York, Jersey, something.
With that kind of lifestyle, you're going to have some stories.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, the man had a hard life, but I mean, it's awesome. He's fantastic. I actually saw him last year here in Salt Lake, and super fun, hilarious guy. And definitely worth seeing if you're ever out and about. So with that, we want to go ahead and sort of get into the show. We wanted to sort of touch on first the whole Spain attacks and all that stuff.
You kind of broke in on the last episode and did a quick announcement because it literally happened the day it aired.
Yeah, I did a super informal thing. I just recorded my voice on the iPhone, but I felt like it was important to say something. We talk so much about Spain and Barcelona and stuff on this show that I felt like it was important to talk about it. I have a lot of friends and people over there, and at least one of these people.
I know a few of them.
And so it was important that, I thought that we said something and did, whatever we could to support. At the time I recorded that thing before the show, it was just happening. It was live.
I hadn't even heard anything about it. I woke up to a text message, "Hey, Mike, you up? I need to do something real quick." And then you kind of spliced it in yourself.
Unfortunately, I just did it myself. Yeah. So I don't know if it sounds that good or not.
But it's fine for what it is. You can tell the difference between what we did in studio versus what you did.
Yeah, well, see, maybe that's a good thing, though, because it really shows how great we are when when we're in a studio environment. But anyway.
Speaking of Spaniards, I think we have one in the room with us.
Yeah. So this last week on Thursday, we welcomed to our family, most people bring a new puppy or something into the house. We bring Spanish people. And so let me introduce Borja.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, here's
Hola
Borja.
todos.
Borja is here. We're actually recording out of a Motel 6 that promised free Wi-Fi, however, did not deliver.
They're charging us $3, and it says on the sign outside.
Yeah, it specifically says on the sign.
I'm going to bring that up at the
There isn't even a dead body in the swimming pool.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed.
Right? I feel like we've been let down on a lot of fronts here. I'm not very happy about it. So anyway, just so that everybody understands what's happening, we didn't just bring him in off the streets. Borja is actually here in the States doing...
It sounds better that way, though.
Yeah.
You just found him, and, we
found a rogue Spaniard, and we decided to give him
He started
home.
speaking Spanish. I felt bad, and, kind of took him in, asked the wife if it was okay.
Yeah, he was on the streets here at the Motel 6.
They rescued me.
Yeah, we've got a rescue Spaniard. We actually found him in a shelter. No, he's here. He's working on a master's degree, but he's here as an intern in the same school that my kids go to. They're in a Spanish immersion program.
Poor kids.
Yeah, poor kids.
Yeah, I know, right?
And so, but they've come and Borja, as well as a number of other interns, have come this year to teach in the school. and we're hosting Borja. So my partner Anna, that's how I met her, and I don't know if we've talked much about Alberto, but he was number 2, and now we've got Borja. He's our third Spaniard that we've taken.
Yeah,
in.
third time's the charm. Like hopefully he's better than the last 2.
Well, they both managed to stick around. I don't know, maybe that's a bad thing.
Victim number 3.
So anyway, so Borja is here. I suspect you'll probably hear a bunch from him over the next little while. He's basically staying with us for the next year, so he'll be around. Definitely the first Spaniard to make our podcast.
Actually, you are the first guest.
Yeah, actually, to be technical, you're the first guest of the show ever.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We've never had anyone else on.
Yeah, and the first guy we bring on is...
It could be the last, depending on how it goes.
I'm not going to leave your house, Ryan. Just tell him.
Yeah, no, he's going to get all this fame in the States, while he's here, and then he's not going to know what to do. With our 23 listeners today.
You've been to the States before, though, right? This isn't your first trip here.
No, it's my third trip here, actually.
Yeah, so before you came here, I guess maybe tell us a little bit about your story, what you're doing here, what maybe the program that brought you here, what you're doing, where you've been, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm here as an intern in Canyon Creek Elementary School. I just came here to learn, basically.
Uh-huh.
To acquaintance my life to your lifestyle. I really admire this country. But now that I know you, I don't know if I'm so sure about that.
Yeah, it was actually a big mistake, but now you're stuck.
I'm just
Too late.
Yeah, I'm just trying to learn and to get experience as a teacher.
Cool. So like Mike was asking, so you've been in the States before, though. This isn't your first trip to the U.S., right?
Yeah, by the way, I'm trying to find a job as a teacher here. So if you're a principal and you're a woman, just hit my DM.
Hit me in the DMs.
Yeah, we'll make sure that everyone has Borja's contact information in the show notes. We'll also post his CV.
As I was saying, this is my third time in America. I've been to Chicago before, Chicago, Illinois. I know that you like to say the state after the city, right?
Yeah. Chicago's pretty nice. Were you there during the wintertime?
No, it was just during...
Or during a crazy murdering spree? Or no?
For 1 month in September.
September, this last September?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Well, in Chicago, that's pretty much wintertime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cool. It must not have been super warm.
I was there as a chaperone of a group of students.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, good experience?
Yeah. They were like 17 years old, so... They take care of themselves.
Yeah, not a ton of work. Just kind of hang out.
Just look and make sure they're not doing stuff they shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, actually they did, but I was okay.
But I wasn't looking.
Don't tell don't tell your parents, and that's okay. Okay, I'm not gonna tell nobody.
So, and then before that, you were in Maryland, right? You spent some time in Maryland also.
I did the same program as a chaperone in Maryland too, in a little town called Edgewater that is between Baltimore and Washington D.C.
Okay.
That was pretty cool too.
Yeah. No, he was telling me about this, and the family he stayed with, they were experts in barbecue.
Oh,
so he had the experience of going around and trying all the best barbecue in the Baltimore area.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad gig.
That's pretty good.
No, actually, I tried a lot of barbecues and pig or pork. You say pork, brisket, beef. A lot of different things.
Yeah, no, barbecue is pretty popular around here too, but we're not on the circuit, I don't think.
Yeah, we're not at that level, but
I just like
few
to
months.
eat.
Yeah, Mike over here, he's quite the cook.
You are more into the Mexican food, right?
Yeah, we're maybe a little overkill on the Mexican food, but it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been here 5 days and you've had Mexican 3 times. So
just 3?
Yeah, well, Taco Bell is one. I mean, maybe 4 times if you count Taco Bell.
No,
Taco Bell doesn't count as food.
We don't want to say Taco Bell here, right?
Taco Bell, I think, was a bad experience for Borja.
They don't sponsor us, so forget that about Taco
That's okay.
Bell.
We'll still do hashtag Taco Bell, see if we can get a little more traffic.
I see how your brain works.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to drop as many names as I can. So
get all the big brands.
Yeah.
Might as well throw in Coca-Cola over there.
And I'm drinking a Fiji water right now. It's really good water. It's the best water I know from Fiji.
By the way, I like my school candy headphones.
The actual the owner is here in Salt Lake. Their headquarters are here in Salt Lake. Here. Yeah.
Yep.
He would. Never mind. I won't go into that because he'll never. Yeah, never mind.
So anyway, not to bring the party down too much, but we wanted to with Spaniard in the house. Well, of course, now Borja is from Palencia. And Palencia is in the western part of Spain, sort of the northwest, not far from Valladolid, where one of our other interns and some of our partners are from.
Victim too.
Right, and then not all that near to Barcelona. So
Cambrils, is that?
No, it's also all that sort of west coast or east coast. So coming back around for people who live under a rock or something, there was a terror attack last week in Barcelona. Some asshole in a van drove down La Rambla and struck and killed a bunch of people.
What's La Rambla?
La Rambla, I don't know what it is in English. Just the Ramble? La Rambla.
Yeah, La Rambla.
Yeah.
It's like a long street.
So it's just a place to go for a walk.
Yeah, but it's very popular for the tourists. It's a really famous tourist spot. And so this dude pulled up into the center there where everyone walks and drove his van down the middle. Ended up, I think all said, we're at 15 dead now, more than 100 injured.
I think it's 13 dead is what I saw, unless there's more that I didn't.
Yeah, I think I read 15 today, but I've seen
it's probably
13 to 15. I mean,
probably someone that was hanging on.
The terrorists dead too. So
yeah, I don't know if they're part of the numbers. I don't know, but they've done. I mean, hats off to what do they call them? El Mossos.
Los Mossos.
Los Mossos.
Yeah, the police.
Yeah. The Catalan police force. They've made pretty swift work of the terrorists.
There was 3 groups, right?
Yeah.
And one group, there was 5 of them, and they were wearing fake bomb suits or something.
Yeah, the way it was reported at first was that they were wearing explosive vests. So it sounded like they were ready for another big event, but. The cops ended up finding them in a little town called Cambrils, which is south of Barcelona, in the state of Tarragona, sort of near Tarragona.
Correct.
And basically shot them all dead. I guess
all of that group died. There was like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I think there was 4 or 5, and then they basically were able to identify the vests and say, okay, well, they weren't real, I guess.
American style.
Yeah,
we just first shot and then we ask.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Yeah. Shoot first, ask later.
Yeah, no, I'm actually been. It's funny. So our cops here have like a bad reputation for doing that kind of thing. And
the sad part is that I have a lot of family that are in the law enforcement, and they're good people. And it's just the 1 or 2 bad apples that.
Well, it's fake news, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I see how it is. Hashtag Trump.
Right. Yeah. No.
We got that in there.
That'll be for some more. Yeah, that'll get us some more traffic.
I guess the police.
I don't know if it's the right traffic, but we'll get some traffic.
I guess the police in America is okay if you're not black.
Well, the thing over here is that so it's super political, right? So the thing that sort of caught me off guard. So last night or maybe 2 nights ago, they finally caught the driver of the van.
Yeah.
And again,
he'd been on the loose
shootout.
for like 4 days.
He was the last one they didn't have tracked down, and they ended up killing him too.
Good.
But this wouldn't happen in the States. They took a picture of his dead body and just threw it on the news. Just like, hey, bro, this is what we do to terrorists,
Yeah,
and here we would never do something like that.
I think they should.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh, damn, what am I looking at here?
Yeah, this is how we do.
Yeah, and so and I think that maybe there's something to it. Maybe it's a little more impactful when you see that there's a real consequence. You will be the dead guy in the newspaper.
Yeah.
So anyway, but the good news, at least in Barcelona, is everybody I know. Although I actually still have one person I haven't heard from, but everybody else I know is good and safe and was able to avoid the situation. So I'm grateful for that. And I guess this cell of guys that were putting on these attacks, because there was basically the Barcelona, the Cambrils attack, and another in Alcanar, and basically they've rounded up the whole crew. And I think they detained a couple and killed the rest.
It sounded to me like the house exploded, and they're like, "Oh crap! What are we going to do now?" So one took off in a van and drove over a bunch of people, and the other people kind of did their thing. It seems like it was like last minute. Our bomb didn't work, so.
You know what? I have read today in the Spanish news that they were trying to attack the Sagrada Familia.
Oh, really?
So they couldn't. And
Who would have been pissed?
Yeah, they
yeah, La Sagrada Familia is my favorite building in Barcelona.
Oh,
yeah,
really it's awesome. It's awesome. If you don't know, just check it out.
Well, and just from a practical matter, I mean, what if they had to start building that thing again? I mean, come on. It's already taken forever, and they're never going to finish. But,
I think that the architect, Dali.
Yeah, Gaudi.
Sorry.
If it was Dali, the building would be like stretched and laying over a branch or something.
I think that, Gaudi, on the paper he was like, we can do this,
Yeah,
you know. And then when they start building, it's like
Never
it's
ending.
endless. But on the paper,
Yeah, no,
he
it's
was
funny
like,
though. I noticed this last trip when I was there this summer, just how much it had changed from the first time I saw it. Like, I mean, because it's constantly under construction. So, but
What is this building?
it's basically it's a cathedral.
cathedral, yeah.
So, but it was designed in like the 1800s by Gaudí, and he's famous for a lot of things in Barcelona. He's
He's like an architect,
yeah.
kind of like the Michelangelo of
well, he's an architect.
Barcelona.
He's an artist. He's all kinds of things. And so he's known for Park Güell. He's
Like another building, a famous building.
it's escaping me the name. Anyway, they a lot of buildings down there and stuff are Gaudi buildings. He was very influential in Barcelona, and so he had designed this cathedral that is the most unique building I've ever seen in my life. And to be perfectly honest, a building like that probably couldn't exist anywhere else. Like putting that thing together and building it,
It's awesome.
it's the most insane thing you'll ever see.
I got to go over there sometime just to see that stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean it's one of the first things I've ever seen that I was like sort of visually arrested.
Just in
like I
awe.
saw it and I was just like, I need a minute to take this in because
That's cool.
I mean it really is totally unique. It's unlike anything you'll ever see, and totally worth seeing. So I'm grateful they did not go to Sagrada Familia. So not that La Rambla was any better, but I mean all those places are really hot tourist spots. So I mean they'd have done a lot of damage in any of those places.
You know what struck me as crazy about, as I was watching the videos and trying to figure out everything that happened, it's how young they are. I mean, they look like they were fresh out of high school.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of
kids.
kids.
Just not even knowing any better. And that to me is just, that they were just brainwashed from age one to, hate everyone else and be these terrorists that they are. But I mean, just seeing someone that age and having that kind of destructive power and that mind thought, it just is like, damn, dude,
Yeah, it really is crazy. You just can't wrap your head around it. So anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this and bring things down or whatever. We're having a good time tonight. We're not joking that we were recording in a Motel 6.
100% true.
And so I mean we're making the best studio we can
Well,
make,
we
so
were
forgive the reverb.
So normally we record at a studio downtown, and that wasn't available. And then we back up. We usually go to Ryan's house and do it there, but he's got guests visiting.
Yeah, and
so I didn't know that either. And all of a sudden I get this, hey, you're scheduled to check in to a Motel 6 tomorrow in my calendar feed or something. I'm like, what the hell? I don't have a reservation.
We've got quite the budget over here at the Eggs Show.
Dude, tell you what, ballin'.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll be in the Hilton next week, I tell you.
I hope you have money to pay me for this. Right?
Yeah.
Shh, don't tell him.
Yeah, no, I can only pay in pesos.
Okay.
So, I mean, I realize they're Spanish, but they both speak Spanish. So
I thought you were going to say about sex, something like that.
I don't want
We
to
are
know
in a
that.
motel.
I
That's
think
between you guys.
Maybe
I
the
don't know.
neighbor guy here at the Motel 6. But I don't know.
Yeah, no blowjob then.
So anyway, with that, to sort of, I need something besides put a bow on. To wrap up, to conclude,
To
the
segue to the
discussion of
next
Spain,
topic.
I just want to say, I hope everybody's doing okay. Please, stay strong, work through this stuff. I'm grateful that, the people that I know are safe and sound. And, hopefully we can do something to avoid this kind of thing in the future. I don't know what, but
Yeah, it's getting to be pretty ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, I feel like if anyone can come up with a solution, it's going to be this show. But I suspect it'll be much later in our tenure.
yeah, when we mature.
Yeah,
a little
really
bit.
tune in
Yeah.
like around episode 271 or
Yeah,
so.
we'll be fighting terrorists at that point.
Well, I suspect by then we'll have the answer.
We got it.
Yeah. So, anyway,
On a lighter topic, Charlottesville.
yeah, no. Also, drama here stateside.
I think, it's you hear about people running over people in cars, and it's always on the other side of the ocean. And for it to happen in the States, right in our back door, it's like, what's the difference between, a Klan member doing it or ISIS doing it? It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
thing. It's just horrendous on all fronts.
Yeah. Well, and the biggest reason I think to bring up Charlottesville, I mean, of course, I'll probably say it wrong, but Heather Heyer.
Yeah, the one that died.
Yeah, the young woman who was killed in the car attack. And, like we were talking earlier, we have nothing but the respect for the police and everything. And there were a couple troopers killed.
In a helicopter crash.
Related to the event. And so,
3 lives that didn't have to be taken.
Like for what?
And
so anyway, so I think it's important just to, give them a little bit of love and best wishes to their family and friends.
So, yeah. And I mean, my family comes from the South. My dad's from North Carolina. I mean, my grandma literally had him out in the tobacco fields when he was a kid as she was picking tobacco, and his middle name is Lee. So, I mean, they were protesting the statue coming down of Robert E. Lee, and that's what spurred this whole thing up. And, it's kind of like a topic that's near and dear to my heart just because, when I was a kid, I watched Dukes of Hazzard. My dad's middle name is Lee. I never thought of, like any weirdness associated to that. And now with the whole Black Lives Matter movement and all this other stuff going on, it's like it's coming to a front, and it's like almost attacking things that I held close when I was young, and now I have to kind of step back and think, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, I think there's a real discussion to be had because, I mean, the logic of the people taking them down or wanting to take them down is, they're really focused on the slavery subject, and obviously it's a huge point. But I think for a lot of the people in the South, they look at it more as heritage and stuff like you're describing.
That's what they're used to.
And there was a lot more to the Civil War than simply slavery. There's states' rights and other issues that were being worked through, and not to downplay slavery, but I mean, I think there's two sides to this. And so I do sort of generally feel that, to try and pretend our history didn't happen is maybe not a realistic approach. So just yanking all these statues down doesn't solve the crimes of the past or anything. And
yeah, I read a couple articles this week about, like when the statues were actually put up versus when, like the Emancipation Proclamation, 1863 or something like that. And then the statue was put up in 1923. So if you I think it's like 60 years later that statue was put up. If you think about that, that's one lifespan. Like that's my dad's age. He's like 62 right now. Mm-hmm. So in his lifetime, think about slavery ending, and then as an old man, they're putting up statues of the people that were fighting for slavery.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of it's almost like a direct slap in the face to those people. And then even in the 60s and the 70s, I mean, like Martin Luther King, he was alive. It's weird to think of him being around. He was like 14, 15 when.
Yeah, well, and it's funny when I think about it too, because I mean, we're both about the same age, but it's like Martin Luther King and all that stuff. I mean, we talked about it in school.
Yeah, it was history.
I mean, but it seems like eternity ago, but really it's not that long.
JFK, Martin Luther King, all this stuff happened in my dad's lifetime. And that's, 35, 40 years ago, something like this is going down. And it's weird to think that in 3 generations, we went from having slaves, having a statue put up, having Dr. King rallies, and my dad was right in the thick of it during the segregation. Like he tells me stories about when they, brought everyone together in school and brawls and riots and people throwing rocks at each other and all sorts of crazy stuff that, we don't even think is, we don't even think twice about it.
Most people couldn't even think of treating people that way anymore.
Yeah, and now, just in one generation, it's gone. So much has happened, but at the same time, it's still a big deal.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough of that. Sorry.
Well, anyway, I think, it's important to hear both sides, but, hopefully they'll work this out. But, again, the big tragedy is the people who lost their life over this thing.
Over senseless stuff.
It's fine to have opinions and fine to fight for your side and all that stuff. But when people start dying because of it, I mean, really, you've got to have a pretty darn good opinion to make it worth killing somebody.
Yeah. Anyways,
anyway, moving on.
How was your week? Other than you got a new member of the family?
Yeah, I mean, really, since Borja landed, it's been just run. It's chaos. I mean, our family is normally chaos, but it's been this way. And
Great chaos.
Yeah, and so Borja arrived Thursday night. We met him at the airport. Missed him at first. He sort of walked right by our giant sign that said "Welcome, Borja."
I'm sorry for
the
that.
balloons and everything. Now,
you spell his name wrong.
No, we got the name spelled right, but our balloons were the color of Barcelona.
Yeah,
and he's a Real Madrid guy, so I think he purposefully just walked by.
Like, screw these guys.
He knew from the beginning there was going to be problems.
Yeah, Barcelona people here. Come on. Let's get rid of that.
Yeah, no, he got really lucky, actually. My youngest, because he can't keep food in his mouth, spilled his spaghetti all over his complete messy uniform. Not messy like dirty, but like, you know.
Oh, okay.
And so he had a complete Barca uniform on earlier in the day, and it would have been the most ironic and funny thing to have Borja arrive to a young man dressed as Messi.
Thanks God.
But instead, he spilled food all over it. So
I don't follow soccer enough to know who the...
All you need to know is that Barcelona and Real Madrid, they're mortal enemies. And so people like this, I mean, you know, people like Borja here, you know, he's a true believer. His family has a tradition of supporting Real Madrid, and it's very important to his family.
So it's kind of like a Bears fan.
Well, yeah, but it's unfortunate because Real Madrid, you know, they're maybe the second or third best team in the world.
Oh.
You know, I mean, Barcelona is, you know, much stronger team.
The other day, we were watching the soccer game together on TV, and the announcer said that Real Madrid is the best team on the planet.
Well, yeah, but it's hard to know.
But it was in Spanish, so who
But the
cares?
announcer is your favorite announcer, by the way.
Don't bring him into this. No, so anyway, so it's been a little bit of fun, some nice fun rivalry in the house because we basically picked Barcelona because our first intern that we hosted from Spain was from Barcelona, and at the time we didn't have a team, so that was the team we grabbed onto. However, both our second and number 3, Borja here, have been Real Madrid fans, so it's been fun because it's kind of a, you know,
A rivalry.
little rivalry in
That's
the house.
kinda cool.
I mean, my boys have both Real Madrid kits and Barcelona kits, and I mean,
So depending on who they want
it's
to be
all-
on their good side.
it's
they
all
just-
on what day.
Yeah.
If you pay them money to support the Patriots, they support the Patriots.
Of course.
Yeah, but no one supports the Patriots. I mean,
That's what I said.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, and then so then on Friday we sort of, you know, it was a little bit like a normal day. Borja needed to catch up on his sleep. He'd been in the plane for I don't know how many hours all day.
16.
Yeah, I mean it was a crazy long flight, so we let him catch up and just sort of rest on Friday. Saturday, football and family coming down and everything. I mean, just one thing after another.
Best week of my life
Yeah.
so far.
And he's been here 5 days. That's how good we are. So,
well, I tell you what, you hit the jackpot with the people you got to stay with.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, you
think
could have
so,
got
yeah.
some gnarly guys around here.
yeah, that's true. I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah, I feel blessed.
And you are. So, also this week, not necessarily my news, but our news is the solar eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
Mikey here slept through it.
Well, I had a late night the night before.
Life-changing event. You know, the most important thing to happen in his
I
generation.
have a friend that was like, dude, this was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, okay. I woke up an hour past it. Sorry.
Well, for people who aren't familiar with our part of the country, so we are. Well, I'm in Utah and Mike's up in Idaho, but we're in Idaho. They were sort of in this band that crossed the United States, where they had what was the word they called it? Where it was completely
Blackout,
blacked out. Yeah,
midnight,
no, they had a name that's hilarious. But anyway, they had complete coverage of the sun, you know, just like you see in the movies where it's black with the ring of fire around it. You know? It looked like a Sauron coming to attack. But so up in Idaho, it was just complete chaos. There was, I mean, they had predicted up to 1 million people coming.
I don't know if there was that many. They were
Everything
calling
I
like
saw.
in FEMA and setting up for like national disaster and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
Crazy.
And they were warning people, you know, don't count on using your cell phone. Take paper maps.
Internet didn't go out. I had cell phone coverage the whole time.
Yeah, I think it might have been you were in Pocatello, but I think like up towards Rexburg.
Idaho Falls, that area.
Well, the thing is, like, none of those cities, I mean, outside of Idaho Falls, most of them are, 5,000 people, 3,000 people, whatever. They're very small sounds. And so the problem is when you bring 20,000 people, 50,000 people, 100,000 people into that area,
It triples the
cell phones
population.
literally can't
Yeah.
handle it. There's no infrastructure for that.
There was one company that was bringing in extra towers, but
I heard
others-
AT&T brought in stuff, but Verizon was just like, sorry about your luck, guys.
Sorry.
Hashtag Verizon. Hashtag AT&T.
Dude, we're going to have a lot of hashtags here.
Yeah, it's going to be a long list.
You better be taking notes.
Ugh, I'm gonna have to listen back. So anyway, so that was something. I was at the office here in Salt Lake, and we had something like 94% coverage. So we got everything but like a little toenail worth of the sun covered up.
So in Shelley, which is in between Pocatello and Idaho Falls, they have pure blackout coverage, whatever the term is for it. And I ended up my parents went up there and they brought in they got these stamps from the post office that are like special edition solar eclipse stamps that if you hold your thumb on them it'll change from a blackout and you can actually see the moon kind of thing. And those are collectible in and of itself. But if you go to the post office on the day of, the post office has, you know how when you mail a letter, they run something over the stamp to say that it's been used? They had a special stamp for that's a complete solar coverage kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
And so they wrote a bunch of letters and then put those stamps on it and took them to the post office and had them run that thing. And only places that have complete coverage get that stamp in the post office. And so supposedly in 50, 60 years or whatever, they're supposed to be really collectible. So,
oh, wow. It sounds like a scam by #post office.
USPS. No, I hadn't heard of it. It's something old people do. I guess,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Sorry,
about
Mom,
that.
if you're listening.
I'm not sure about the stamp collections. Yeah. So the word totality.
Totality.
That's what they call
Finish
it.
him.
Yeah, I know, right? It sounds like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so it was still, it was kind of a unique thing. We don't have an eclipse every day. In fact, I don't think we have another for 50 years or something.
There's one in 24.
Well, I guess here in the States, right?
It's actually going through Houston.
Yeah.
So it starts through New York
and the other direction.
Yeah. So there will be one in 2024. I have plans that are friends that are like planning to go to Mazatlan or something that year. So they could get the yeah.
So, but, I was looking forward to, I had heard all the reports or the rumors about, some of the crazies that were going to come out for the eclipse. There were a bunch of people, I think they were trying to make moon babies, they call them, which was, you had to sort of conceive at the moment of totality.
I would have been down for that.
Yeah, well, I was up for trying, but nobody asked. So, but
you never hit.
So, I hung out the entire time, I was there, but nobody came around looking for moon babies.
Yeah,
so
darn.
So, but I imagine there was a handful of, sun worshippers and cultists and suicide
sacred geometry types.
Yeah, there had to be some really rad stuff going on. So I was bummed I didn't get
that's why they had called it a FEMA kind of thing. And they brought in extra police officers. Everyone was on call. I don't know if I was supposed to talk about all this, but, they were expecting a lot of bank robberies and stuff like that because all the police would be distracted dealing with people.
Just sheer volumes.
Yeah,
of people,
not being able to handle everything. So they were expecting a bunch of idiots to go and rob gas stations and stuff.
Yeah. One of the funny things about this is this boosts the stupidity of people. And someone created a Twitter account called The Moon and blocked another Twitter account called The Sun.
And they started a war?
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
The moon
fantastic.
blocked
they
the
blocked
sun.
each other. That's awesome.
They did the eclipse thing.
That's fantastic.
That's great.
See, there are clever people out there.
Yeah.
These guys were not making moon babies. They were at home.
And they were having a Twitter battle.
Yeah, nobody was interested in moon babies.
I was up the night before until like 6 a.m. I just was like, screw it.
You should have got up. It was your one chance.
I set the alarm. It was supposed to go over at like 11:30ish or whatever. I set the alarm for 10:30. Yeah. I woke up, didn't see anything, went back to bed.
You need the special glasses. If you just look at it, it still just looks like the sun.
Like Donald.
Unless, well, I guess when you reach totality. I guess it goes, like here in Utah, for example, it got a little darker and the temperature dropped to maybe 10 or 20 degrees.
That's what I heard. It was crazy because it fell down and then it was still as bright almost as like just dusk.
Yeah.
And only like 1% of the sun was out, which is crazy. If you
from
think
what I
about
understand, in Idaho, though, it got quite dark and, it was more like evening or whatever. And so anyway, really interesting. So. But I was looking forward to much more entertaining news. The one thing, though, is so just to give an idea, on a normal day, the drive from Pocatello to Idaho Falls is about 45 minutes. And apparently, from what I've heard, and I don't know, this is not verified, so don't hold me to it. I heard it was taking somewhere between 7 and 8 hours to get from Idaho Falls to Pocatello during post-eclipse traffic.
I was at my cousin's house that night. We did a barbecue kind of thing, and he lives up on the hill, and you can see the freeway from his house. And you could see a line of cars at 9:30 at night still all the way over to Blackfoot.
Yeah, and I don't know what they ended up doing. They talked about here in Utah, they stopped all the construction and opened all the lanes so people could come and go. Can you
imagine if they had it down to one lane or something like that?
Yeah, well, and right now it is. That's why it's so crazy, is that they had to basically patch it up so they could ride both lanes. But from what I heard, too, and I don't know if they ended up needing to do this because I don't know if the traffic was as bad as anticipated, but they were actually going to switch I-15 from having a northbound and a southbound to making them both northbound on Sunday and both southbound on Monday.
Oh, so like Seattle and then express lanes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you wanted to go north, you'd have to take like Highway 89 or something.
Oh, dude.
And so anyway, I don't know if they ended up, if it came to that or not.
I don't think they did.
So, but anyway, they were saying be prepared. So anyway, it was kind of a crazy thing. So, yeah.
Well,
glasses are for sissies. You know.
Was that?
Look, Donald Trump. He didn't use them. Like, you know.
The glasses,
yeah.
Right. There was a picture of him viewing the eclipse or whatever, Donald Trump viewing the eclipse without the glasses when everyone...
Hashtag Trump.
Yeah. I got to do that twice now.
Hashtag POTUS.
POTUS.
So anyway, but yeah, so the eclipse was another crazy thing that went on this week. So hopefully everybody's retinas have recovered and we're doing all right.
We were expecting like a busier weekend in Pocatello for the, Center Street, the venue I play at. And Thursday was completely dead. Like, I think what ended up happening was everyone went to a barbecue or went camping or something like that just to, do something different instead of go out to a bar. And so Thursday we had like 2 tables at the most. But the cool part about it was those 2 tables were my age. And so I was playing, music from 2000 or 90s. I was playing like Tupac and Regulators and just stuff that like...
Oh yes.
Yeah, and it's stuff that I enjoyed, and so I was in the groove the whole night and having fun. Granted, the bar wasn't making money, but my night was awesome. And Friday was busy, and so it was good. But yeah, like I was expecting a really busy weekend because of the eclipse.
Well, it's funny. I was watching the news. Kyle, it must have been Monday morning or something. They were no, I don't know. They were talking to some dudes from Utah that had driven to Jackson Hole to watch the totality. Oh no! And so they got him on the news, and the guy, the anchor or whatever, the guy on the news was going off. Oh, we're getting ready for this crazy situation. We got a lot of people coming in. It's getting crazy, and here's some people we met, that came up from Utah. Let's talk to them. Hey guys, how was your drive up? How was it? Was it just crazy?
No, we got right here.
Yeah. The guy was like, yeah, no, it was really peaceful. It was nice and quiet. Nobody on the roads. It was really good. He's like, well, what about, here in Jackson, the hustle and bustle, people over here. He's like, yeah, no, we set our cameras up over here, and then we walked over and grabbed lunch, and we have a spot over here. It's wide open.
You're more than welcome. Join us.
Yeah, there's no one here. Yeah, we've got the whole place to ourselves. And you could see just like the disappointment in the new guy's face, because it was just like, I'm supposed to be hyping this.
Well, the funny thing is like every time I watch the local news, I just laugh because it's so funny to me because they make everything into a big deal when it's like, last week we caught 4 cars speeding on I-15, and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, no. Well, and I'll tell you, the ones I feel bad for are the guys like the shops in Jackson Hole, for example, that stocked up on hundreds or thousands of
extra units
Eclipse
of whatever,
2017 T-shirts or whatever, and then had nobody show up.
So my uncle has Radio Shack in Blackfoot, and they had ordered
Hashtag Radio Shack.
Yeah, they're defunct, so it's good. We don't have to.
Crap.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, he bought like 400 of the solar glasses, right?
Yeah.
And he was just gonna give them out, kind of thing. And then the last day he had like 150, 200 left. And his wife's like, hey, just put them up for sale, $5 a piece, see what happens. And they changed their reader board out front saying they had solar glasses left. And he had a line out the door. Yeah. He had probably 50 people in line trying to get these things. And when he was running out towards the last, they had like 10 or 15 of them left. People behind him were like, I'll give you twice as much. And they were fighting over,
bidding more
for the glasses.
Ooh. Yeah.
So.
I just remember being at home with your children, and I told them, hey, let's see this eclipse thing, and say, Oh, I don't care about that. Let's play UFC. Say, okay.
Kids these days.
Yeah, the boys are hooked on the hashtag UFC, hashtag PS4 game.
Oh, okay.
EA Sports.
So they've been playing like crazy, and yeah, they didn't want to break from the game to see the eclipse.
Oh, well, what do you know?
But they'll
I slept
still
through
be
it,
young
so I'm
bucks
not
in
one to
2024,
talk.
so not
Yeah.
a big deal. So
We had also solar glasses, so
yeah, no. So anyway, but yeah, I feel awful for all these businesses. I was thinking they ought to put together a class action lawsuit against the media.
Oh, how dare they?
For hyping this crap up so much to the point they thought there would literally be 1 million people in Southeast Idaho. And so, I mean, they're saying, I'm hearing reports, fuels sold out, water sold out.
They
bring all your
they
things.
used the fuel thing to raise the prices. In
Yeah,
the
they
last
just-
3 weeks, the price has gone up 20 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
And in the news, they're talking about, we're not going to lower it back down for a little while because we're going to have a shortage.
Yeah.
So they're just using it to
Yeah,
rake in money for a
they're
while.
inventing panic, so people go nuts and they buy everything up.
Well, in the grocery store, same way. All the food,
all the
everyone's
bottled
stocking
water,
up.
everything,
Yeah.
hashtag Texaco.
And so, and even I was like, God, I was telling one of my friends, I was like, God, I wish a week ago we should have bought up like all the bottled water at Costco, rented a box truck,
And just sold it out.
cruised up to Idaho and just, parked on the side of the road and just pitched water all
Free water.
Did you say Costco?
No free.
No, not free. Yeah, my bad.
It would be like $5 a bottle.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, we'd had nobody to sell it to. We'd had a truck full of water.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there were still a lot of people, but nowhere near like what they were estimating. And this false panic that they put together.
Well, they do that all the time.
Well, it's
you get
funny.
a hurricane in Florida that turns into a tropical storm, and everyone's going and buying everything in the stores. And
And I mean, at least with a hurricane, okay, let's say, okay, it turns into a tropical depression or whatever. That's what I get every winter is a tropical depression. But but let's say it goes from hurricane to tropical something, and it ends up not making landfall, whatever. So of course you made panic, but there was a chance, and if it hits you, you need all those things. So I
Yeah.
get it. Now this, was very Y2K like. They put together a whole.
I have a story about that when
Good.
yeah.
They put together this whole apocalyptic scenario over something that's not apocalyptic at all. This isn't even as bad as the end of the Mayan calendar, for example. It's not even one of the things that really should scare people. Like nobody's claiming apocalypse. Nobody's
Well, they got to get their $1.50 for their shades.
yeah. Well, and so my God, this fake news hashtag fake news.
This is a crazy episode. Sorry,
Hashtag
guys.
Fox.
These guys are coming out and they're really manufacturing panic and so but what it's doing is it's causing people to go nuts and
Well, it works.
raise prices and all that stuff, but somebody ought to be accountable for that. I mean,
Well,
all these
what was it?
businesses who
The
overstocked
War of the
and all these
Worlds.
things.
Remember that broadcast?
Yeah.
That was what early 1930s when radio was first coming out, kind of thing. They broadcasted this thing. It's called the War of the Worlds, and like we were getting attacked by aliens, and they made it sound like it was real. They made it sound like, holy shit, people
it
are
was done
dying.
like a
People
news broadcast,
Yeah, it was
and
a
so
fake
people thought
news
it was-
broadcast, and it was.
Orson Welles.
Hashtag fake news.
Well,
Hashtag
it
Orson
caused so much panic. I mean, that's why the FCC's around. That's why all this stuff is because people were losing their minds.
Yeah.
Like literally losing their minds. And I could go into a whole, side topic of this, but I won't because it's.
Yeah, no, but it's exactly that. And that's my point, though, is when they're doing that, I mean, they're actually putting people in danger.
Yeah.
And for what? I mean, so they can have some ratings or whatever.
Well,
I'm
they
sure-
weren't the first time, the War of the Worlds broadcast. They weren't
Well,
expecting that.
Yeah, I don't think they could have
They
anticipated
couldn't have
that.
forecasted that.
That was just hype for the Tom Cruise movie. Wasn't it?
Yeah, really early. And so,
promotion.
hashtag Tom Cruise. But, sorry, we can't record at midnight anymore, guys. We can't do
No,
this.
this is actually going to be hilarious. I'm going to love it.
Well, it's going to be funny for us anyway. I hope everyone's sticking with us.
Anyways,
But anyway, you said you had a Y2K story.
oh yeah. So I had a New Year's Eve gig that night. I was playing a youth dance at a YMCA in Tacoma, Washington. Hashtag YMCA.
Hashtag Tacoma.
We got to stop that.
At symbol Tacoma, Washington, maybe?
Yeah. Anyways, midnight comes around. Everyone was freaking out, thinking that power's going to go out. All the computers. Everyone was worried about the Y2K thing. And midnight comes around. Power's still on. Great. Continue dance. No big deal. 12:30 comes around. Power goes out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And everyone just lost their mind and like completely like, oh my God, it happened. What the hell? And a bunch of 14-year-old kids in a YMCA in the middle of the, dark thing. And I'm like, whatever, I was over it.
They immediately fled to their corners to start making out.
Well, yeah, exactly right.
Well, the world was ending.
They're hiding, yeah.
They had to get that first kiss.
A car hit a power transformer on the block. So it was just the block I was on. The power went out at 12:30 at night.
That's
and
fantastic.
it was perfect. You just couldn't make that up, but whatever. So anyways, it's been an interesting podcast. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, no, unfortunately,
I like it.
I mean the big things today. We wanted to introduce Borja. I imagine he'll come around a little bit. We've covered the news. That was kind of a fun thing, but we don't really have a topic for today.
Remember to hit my DM, okay?
Hit the DMs,
babies.
What's your Twitter handle?
Okay, at Navathus.
Navathus?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to spell that in the American alphabet.
NAVAZUS. Okay,
we say Z here.
Just for the
Z.
host, just for the thoughties. Okay.
So catch Borja on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, wherever you want to find him. And we'll put a note in the show notes also.
Yeah.
But
the ladies will put a picture up for you. Yeah, you're good.
You can find me in a motel.
Motel 6, room 203.
Yeah.
For the next 12 hours.
That's your room,
or
bro.
until they throw us out. The neighbors will be tired of listening to us. So with that, it's kind of a short show, but no sense in just rambling for the sake of it. So let's go ahead and roll out with the plugs. Let's remind everybody about the Spotify playlist. Mike is always adding music. I'm always promising to add music. But do check it out. You can find out about it on our website. There's links there, all that stuff.
Next week we have a special guest.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are doing an interview with our friends who we've brought up a couple times. The guy at Dead Flesh Co., clothing company out in New Jersey. Will Truran, guy that I met at the Weapons of Mass Creation Fest in Cleveland last year.
He was just there, so
he has just been there this past weekend, so he's going to come on the show, talk a little bit about that experience, about that event, how it went this year since I wasn't able to attend. Also, we'll rap a little bit about his clothing company, his new freelance project that he's working on, and a couple other things.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah,
It'd be fun to talk to him.
It should be really fun. So,
well, if anything, just to hear his backstory.
Yeah,
Thanks to God, he came later, or he's going to come later.
He'll be on next week's episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
he'll air
okay,
next
because
week.
he sounds quite more interesting than I. So
No, you were fun. It was a fun interview.
Yeah, well, and so we'll have him. I had already sort of told him he'd be the first interview or the first. So tonight we have to treat Borja as a co-host so that he wasn't the first interview.
Yeah, okay.
That way,
There we go.
That way, I'm not a liar.
co-host sounds good.
Co-host Borja, you can put it on your business card.
Oh yeah.
So
If he gets a business card before I do, I'm going to be pissed.
one more thing for the CV. Anyway, if you want to find anything out about me or R2 Media Group in Salt Lake and in Barcelona, you can find us at r2mg.com or at r2mg on Twitter or at R2 Media Group on Instagram.
For me, you can find me at djontic.com. That's ONTIC. And all of my social links are there, so check it out.
Sweet. Wait. Shit. I have one more thing to talk about. Is it too late to go back?
No, you're good.
Okay.
We'll do the plugs twice.
We don't have to do them all again for the sake of anybody who's actually stuck with this thing. I suspect we may be annoying and they may have tuned out.
I bet they're actually sticking around.
Waiting for us to say something compelling. Anyway, the one thing, and I've been meaning to bring it up for 2 weeks, is the new website. We launched a new website for R2 Media Group. So the new website is something we talked about before on an earlier episode. We talked a little bit about relationships, the importance of relationships, that this was one of those things that I had sort of pulled out of Spanish culture that I really like and was very personal to me. And one of the things we're trying to do is really build that into the corporate culture of R2 Media Group, of our company.
And so, your website is pretty much focused around that, right?
Yeah, and so basically we redesigned the website completely, and we took it and made it very simple. Basically, it boils down to just a simple paragraph and a couple ways to contact us. And basically, the moral of the story is that we're taking this idea of relationships and, basically taking it through to our core. We're, practicing what we're preaching. So, basically what we say is, or we talk about just sort of the importance of personal relationships, how important they are to us, and how important it is that we connect. Every website we've had in the past is very similar to the websites of every other agency. We have blogs, we have mission statements, we have portfolios and work samples and all this stuff, right? Case studies. But the one thing they seem to do is sort of give everyone a reason to leave. You know what I mean? Like they come to the website,
and you look at the portfolio,
you
and
do a little clicking,
yeah.
and if you don't have any, maybe you don't see a piece that's exactly what you're looking for, or maybe. Well, I don't know. Whatever.
Well, everyone has their own concept of what they think that their
you've
site
got an
or
idea in your head,
yeah.
right? And you're flipping through ad agency websites or marketing company websites, and you're trying to find somebody that matches your vision. If you don't find that on a website, especially without any relationship, it's super easy to just navigate away, click away, be done. And so for us, we stripped our website of all those things. Basically we've removed our portfolio, we've removed our blogs, we've removed all that stuff. And basically all you can do on our website is connect with us. We have a simple button you can click that will actually call us, call me, call whomever is on the clock at the moment, or you can send us a note. And that's pretty much it. If you want a portfolio, we're more than happy to send you one. But ask me for it.
Yeah.
Let's get that relationship going.
Well, and it not only weeds out, people who are just wasting your time, but it also puts them directly in contact with you. So it helps them out more than anything.
Yeah. Well, and we may find that this doesn't work. Maybe people really like to cruise websites and just, like and dislike and throw things away and just move past. And, and so maybe we'll find that this doesn't work. But for us, we feel like this importance of having a relationship with the people we do business with is so important that that's all we want to put our emphasis on.
Exactly.
And so, so we're done trying to do all that other stuff, and so basically we're, like I said, we're practicing what we're preaching. We're really trying to bring this idea of personal relationships into the business. And basically we won't be doing business with people we don't have relationships with anymore. And which is a little bit of a change, because actually the way that my business started, the way our 2 Media Group started,
just
was online.
Random people. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was online, and we would pick up random people through forums or through websites or whatever. And I mean, even now there's a handful of my clients I've never met in person. And now, given this sort of new mantra and this shift in culture, that doesn't work for me anymore. Now it's important to me that, that we have those relationships, and so now I'm traveling out, I'm meeting people, I'm spending time with clients because I think it's really important.
Yeah, I didn't agree with you too. Just in the last 6 months this summer, I've been making an effort to actually get to know my clients more on a one-on-one basis versus just showing up and doing the gig and leaving.
Yeah, I think it's got to be more than just cashing a check. I think it's got to be about that relationship, getting involved in a client's life,
well, some of them don't want to be in my case too. Some of them,
true.
They just want me there to play music.
Yeah,
but
and there's
others,
definitely a place for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we have very pragmatic clients that are, I have job, you perform service.
Yeah, the yacht club that hires me out of the blue doesn't want to be in touch with me 6 months from now.
They're not looking to be your bro. So, but I've found, at least with our advertising and marketing clients, and like those that we're doing package development or product design with, I mean, those guys want you to buy into their vision. They want you to understand their product. They want you to understand their service. And by doing that, we, can develop that deeper relationship, and we can also do a better job marketing. We can actually effectively promote a product or design for a product if we thoroughly understand it.
Well, yeah, you don't know what they're looking for and what they need. Lots of times they don't even know what they need.
Yeah,
and it takes a conversation for you to kind of steer them in the right direction too.
It's impossible to pull out of somebody flipping through websites or somebody filling out an email form.
Yeah.
You've got to talk. So anyway, if you get a minute, do swing by the website. Let us know what you think. Know that it's not lip service. This is the way that we're trying to shift our company and really put a focus on those relationships. And I think it's good advice for everybody, sort of put those relationships forward in whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Well, now that it's up and open to everyone to go and check it out, it'll be interesting to see how it, works out in the end.
Yeah, we'll see. And I mean, time will tell, and we'll see how it performs. It's too soon to, I don't really have any great data on if we're getting more traffic or less traffic or whatever. So, I mean, I don't have much to report at this time about our little experiment. But anyway, I've been meaning to talk about it for a couple of weeks, so I just wanted to make sure to bring that up.
Well, good deal.
So, with that said, you can find it at r2mediagroup or r2mg.com.
Yeah.
So finally, the last plug of the day, besides all the thousands of hashtags we drop during the show, check us out online. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, tell your mom, and share the Eggs Show. We're still trying to build an audience. And it's going great, but
it's eggscast.com.
Yeah, eggscast.com and at Eggs Show on Twitter and Instagram.
Sweet.
So, as we said, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Borja, any closing words?
Thanks for coming out, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate this.
5 days into your American adventure, and you're already on a radio show.
Oh yes, I cannot believe it. That just say that I really enjoyed this, and that you can find me in my Twitter, in Canyon Creek, in your house, and in the darkest places in Utah,
hiding in the bushes, watching you.
And that's not. He's looking at me, but he doesn't mean my house. He's in your house right now. So
Ryan's mansion.
All right, so. And with that, we'll see you guys all next week with Will Truren from Dead Flesh Co.
Yeah, that should be fun. See you guys next week.
All right. Good night.
Bye.